Just a reminder for those of you that are joining us on our live webinar today, feel free to submit any questions that you have for Rob using the Q&A function that you can you'll hopefully see at the bottom of your screen. For those of you just joining us, we have the pleasure of hearing from Rob Bacher today, fellow of the Conference of Consulting Actuaries, and specifically we're talking to Rob about his experience in non-traditional actuarial roles. So Rob, to continue on with our discussion, what have been the most rewarding aspects of your work as an actuary?
There's a lot there, Michael, honestly. I've really enjoyed helping businesses with their people and financial issues. Really have a passion for coming up with options to solve problems. I think that's just a natural tendency for me, and I think it fits well within the actuarial skill set to do that. Got a lot out of working with a lot of smart people and always growing and learning. I think actuaries are just very bright individuals, and in the context of business and looking at problems, trying to identify different risks and having different perspectives, you're just always learning. It's always been a great part of it. I've also found, for me, being able to work through challenges and get agreement on a path forward and making a difference is very meaningful to me. So again, it's getting people on that same page and how are we going to move this forward, getting different perspectives, getting us to a best spot that we can with the information we have has always been great. Really, the variety of work is boundless. You get to interact with a lot of different folks, from the CFO, CEO, and for me, actually, the most enjoyable part was getting out into the field and talking to the employees up at the North Slope, for example, where they were interested to learn a lot and have a person from corporate come up and visit them. So a lot of great things.
So when you look back on your career to date, what would you consider to be some of your biggest professional triumphs?
I'm trying to think about that. I mean, for me, really, I think leading and growing a high-performing team has been really great for me. I think it's difficult in the environment at times to be able to do that. You're pulled in so many different directions, but I think for me that's been a big part of it, and really enjoyed using my actuarial skill sets, sharing my knowledge and learning from others, and just trying to do good things. The enterprise development, again, I've done things that are non-traditional, kind of working for the company side of things, where they were going to host their first ever global HR leadership meeting. And I was pegged as one of the people to help pull that together. So again, helping to help guide the direction of what we were going to do for the function in terms of what sort of materials we're going to try to get folks aware of and understanding was a great part of that process.
Awesome. I'll kind of flip it around as well and have you talk for a little bit about some of the more difficult challenges that you had to overcome throughout your career so far.
Well, there's always challenges, Michael, honestly. I think for me, early on in my career, I was a fairly young actuary when I got my fellowships, and you really need to prove yourself to some people. So I would say, be patient and be a good number two. Be a team player, listen and learn is something that I've always definitely tried to do, and not always easily said or done, but it's definitely something I've tried to do. There's always difficult situations, trying to navigate what I call politics and sometimes gossip. Really try to focus on what you can control and influence, and try to perhaps avoid people that provide negative energy. And for me, as I've had a family, making that work-life balance has been important as well, making sure that you have some sort of expectations with who you work with, and try to be reasonable for them in terms of being able to disconnect when you are off the clock. So I think that's important. So.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I've definitely experienced that same challenge. So in the different roles you've had, in the different companies you've worked for, you've obviously had a lot of experiences so far in your career. So what's next on the horizon for you, Rob, and what skills are you looking to hone in on or fine-tune as you think about next steps for you?
Sure. There's a lot. I think I'm always learning something new, even on the actuarial or technical side of things. The regulations constantly are changing, and the environment's ever changing as we become more global and connected. For me, honestly, I think some of the things that I want to continue to grow a lot on are my softer skills. And I know we're going to talk about this some more, but this concept of emotional intelligence, or an EQ is important as you progress in your career in particular. I know my family will say it's important at home as well. So I think being able to understand people's perspectives and things like that are very important in all aspects of your life. In terms of skills to hone, I think I've got a lot of passion and I can see a lot of opportunities in data analytics. I think actuaries have a natural skill set to work in this, not just looking at what's happened in the past and what may happen in the future through predictive analytics, but also what can we do to shape the future outcomes by taking certain actions. That's something that I have a lot of interest in, for example, in the healthcare space, and how clients can perhaps, or customers or corporations can navigate the healthcare space in the US in particular. That's rather difficult. So that's part of it. So I don't know if there's anything more you'd like me to share.
No, that's great. I appreciate it.